Welcome to our Defense Briefing Show. Folks, today we're diving into a mix of intriguing news from around the globe. So buckle up for a quick roundup of what's happening in our world. First off, Russia's making waves in the Black Sea, quite literally with plans to build a new naval base in Abkhazia. This move comes after Ukraine has given Russia's Black Sea Fleet a tough time, sinking their ships and raining on their naval parade. Meanwhile, NATO's not just watching from the sidelines. Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg recently visited Georgia to chat about Russia's maritime ambitions. It's like the plot of a sci-fi thriller, but with more boats and fewer martinis. Switching gears, let's talk about the U.S., where opinions are as mixed as a bag of jelly beans. A recent poll found Americans divided over Israel's actions in Gaza, with a stark contrast between Jewish and Muslim perspectives. And in Maryland, folks are scratching their heads over whether legalizing weed was a high point or a low blow for the state. It seems like the jury's still out here. But hey, at least they're having a conversation about it. Last but not least, sports fans had their hearts racing as the NCAA men's basketball tournament kicked off with some stunning upsets. Dokine pulled off a victory against BYU, marking their first win in the tournament since 1916. Talk about a long-awaited triumph. Meanwhile, international politics and military moves continue to unfold, with the U.S. and Israel experiencing a bit of a chill in their relationship over the Gaza conflict. And in a heartwarming turn of events, the Ghost Army of World War II, known for their cunning deception tactics, received congressional gold medals. It's a reminder that heroes come in all shapes and sizes, sometimes even inflatable ones. So there you have it, a whirlwind tour of today's news landscape. Don't forget to stay tuned for more detailed coverage on these stories. Thanks for joining us on Defense Briefing, and please continue to watch for more in-depth content. Russia's Black Sea naval ambitions. For untold细心, Russia is planning to construct a new naval base in Abkhazia, a breakaway region of Georgia located along the Black Sea coast. Russia's Black Sea Fleet has been decimated by Ukraine over the past 2 years, with many powerful Russian warships being damaged or destroyed. The construction of a new base in Abkhazia would provide Russia with a safer harbor for its warships, further away from the threat of Ukrainian drones and missiles. While the base currently consists of just one pier, it could be expanded in the future if Russia decides to commit more resources to the project. NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg recently visited Georgia to discuss Russia's Black Sea ambitions and the future of the region. Jews and Muslims in U.S. disagree on Israel's conduct in Gaza. Poll finds sides. Washington Post. A survey by the Pew Research Center has found that Americans are divided over Israel's conduct in the Gaza conflict and the reasons behind the war. The poll found that 30% of U.S. adults think Israel's conduct has been acceptable, while just over 30% said it was unacceptable. However, the survey also revealed stark differences along religious lines, with 60% of American Jews saying Israel's conduct is acceptable, compared to just 5% of American Muslims. The poll also found that younger people were more opposed to Israel's actions than older adults. After voting to legalize weed, Marylanders are mixed on impact. Poll finds. Washington Post. A new poll by the Washington Post University of Maryland suggests that about 1/3 of voters in the state think legalizing recreational cannabis has been good for Maryland, while another third think it's been bad. The rest say it has been neither good nor bad. The poll also found that 50% of those surveyed oppose allowing a cannabis shop to open in their neighborhood, and 35% strongly oppose it. Prince George's County, an affluent majority black suburb of Washington, had the highest levels of opposition. Maryland voted to legalize recreational cannabis in 2020, with 2 in 3 voters approving. So far, the state has seen $332 million in retail sales in the first 6 months since legalization. However, the poll suggests that only 1 in 7 voters have purchased cannabis products since sales started. The poll also found that 89% of voters who hadn't bought cannabis products said they were unlikely to do so in the next few years. The poll was conducted by the Washington Post and the University of Maryland Center for Democracy and Civic Engagement. How these tell China, Russia their ships won't be targeted in Red Sea. The Sydney Morning Herald. China and Russia have reportedly reached an agreement with Houthi rebels that their ships can sail through the Red Sea and Gulf of Aden without being attacked. In exchange, the two countries may provide political support to the Houthis, potentially including blocking resolutions against the group. The talks are said to have been prompted by increased nervousness among world powers about the group's missile and drone attacks on ships in the regions since November 2020. The Houthis claim to be targeting ships linked to Israel. The US and UK but appear to have misidentified some vessels. Now, 11 do kind upset 6th seeded BYU for one straight win in NCAA men's tournament since 1916. CBC The 2023 NCAA men's basketball tournament began with a series of first-round games on Thursday. No, 11 seed Dokine defeated No. 6 seed BYU 7-J. 6th win in a close game. No, 11 seed Oregon upset No. 6 seed South Carolina 8-7 Tythor, with Jermaine Cowesnerd scoring 40 points against his former team. No, 7 seed Dayton overcame a 17-point deficit to defeat No. 10 seed Nevada 6-60. No. 3 seed Illinois beat No. 14 seed Morehead State tied with extension with Marcus Damas recording a triple-double. No. 3 seed Creighton defeated No. 14 seed Akron 17-60 with Ryan Kalkbrenner scoring 23 points. Top seed North Carolina easily beat No. 16 seed Wagner 96-1 with RJ Davis scoring 22 points. No. 2 seed Arizona defeated No. 15 seed Long Beach State tied for 5th, 6th swing. Schumer says Netanyahu lost his way. Would a new leader change course? Washington Post said, Washington. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is facing low popularity among Israeli voters, with his governing coalition being the most right-wing in Israel's history. However, the reasons for his unpopularity are mostly tied to domestic politics rather than his government's handling of the war in Gaza. The Israeli public has shown overwhelming support for the war, with polling indicating that around 80% of Jewish Israelis believe Israel should not take into consideration the suffering of the Palestinians until hostages are held in Gaza. The Israeli public has been largely silent on the devastation in Gaza, with no major political figure speaking out against the war. Despite the growing international alarm over the humanitarian situation in Gaza, the Israeli public has little faith in the Palestinian Authority and is skeptical of the Biden administration's idea of revitalizing Palestinian officials and their security forces to help stabilize post-war Gaza. While many Israelis want new elections, this may not dramatically shift Israel's approach to Gaza and the Palestinians. It is unclear when new elections might be held, but Netanyahu is already in campaign mode and itching for a confrontation with President Biden that could re-energize his base. Intel CEO says Biden wants chip factories bigger and sooner. Washington Post. Intel CEO Pat Gelsinger has said that President Biden is pushing for new federally funded chip factories to be operational sooner. The comments were made following reports of delays and rising costs in Washington's attempt to revitalize U.S. high-tech manufacturing. Intel is set to receive $5 billion in grants and $11 billion in loans to help reshore some of its computer chip production from abroad. Gelsinger called the grants and other support for U.S. chipmakers the most important piece of industrial policy since World War II. Famed battleship USS New Jersey floating down Delaware River to Philadelphia for maintenance. Associated Press. The USS New Jersey, a decommissioned battleship turned floating museum, is being moved down the Delaware River to the Philadelphia Navy Yard for extensive maintenance work. The work is expected to take 2 months to complete and includes repainting the hull, fixing the anti-corrosion system, and inspecting through hull openings. The battleship was built in the 1940s, is the most decorated battleship in Navy history, and served in multiple conflicts. The move down the river is described as a once-in-a-generation occurrence, and there are concerns about the ship's age, but officials believe things will go smoothly. World War II Ghost Army honored by a Congress. BBC U.S. President Joe Biden has signed a bill toward the Congressional Gold Medal to the Ghost Army, a secretive unit known for its clever ruses during World War II. The unit used inflatable vehicles and special effects to deceive the Germans about Allied war plans, confusing them about the size and location of Allied troops. The Ghost Army is credited with saving the lives of between 15,000 and 30,000 soldiers. 3 surviving veterans will be awarded the medal in Congress on Thursday. Lincoln huddles on Gaza with Arab diplomats in Cairo as U.S.-Israel relations sour relations. Associated Press. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken met with top Arab diplomats in Cairo on Thursday to discuss post-conflict plans for Gaza. The meeting came as relations between the U.S. and Israel soured further over Israel's war against Hamas, particularly its intention to mount a major military operation against the southern city of Rafah. Blinken met with the foreign ministers of Egypt, Jordan, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates to discuss ideas for Gaza's future. A top official from the Palestine Liberation Organization also attended. The ministers were expected to discuss the ceasefire talks and ways to increase urgent humanitarian aid deliveries to Gaza by land. The outcome of the meeting between Blinken and the Arab ministers was not immediately clear. Earlier in the day, Blinken met with Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, who stressed the need for an immediate ceasefire and warned against the dangerous repercussions of any Israeli offensive in Rafah. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 60O team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 60O Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned supplers, and accomplished scientists, the 60O team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 60O Brief to meet your professional needs, you'll have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 60obriefs.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 60O Brief by email,